Ladies and gentlemen, in the pursuit of greatness, one truth stands above all others. Power is not simply about strength, but about strategy. It is not about being the loudest in the room, but about knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Today, we delve into a timeless lesson, one that has shaped the course of history and molded some of the greatest leaders the world has known. It is the art of influence, the wisdom of knowing how to move forward without drawing unnecessary attention, how to rise without disturbing the order that surrounds you. The lesson: never outshine the master. The hunger for greatness often drives people to show their strengths too early, too vividly, and in the wrong direction. But one of the greatest and most underestimated threats on the road to power is not competition from peers, it's the insecurity of those above you. The master, the boss, the superior, whatever their title, are rarely as secure as they seem. Often, the higher someone climbs, the more they fear the fall. And nothing triggers this fear more than the presence of a subordinate whose intelligence, charm, or talent threatens to make them look less dominant in the eyes of others. It's a fatal mistake to assume that if you do your best and shine brightly, you'll be rewarded. In truth, this brightness can cast an unwanted shadow over the master. That shadow breeds resentment, paranoia, and eventually sabotage. Masters are human. They thrive on feeling superior. They need to believe they are the strongest force in the room. If you challenge that belief, even unintentionally, they will defend their status by striking you down not out of malice, but out of instinct. Your abilities will be seen as an asset, but a danger to the delicate balance of ego that holds their authority together. True wisdom lies in restraint. Let your excellence remain quietly under the surface. Channel your strength into making your master feel secure, respected, and admired. Do not correct them publicly. Do not outperform them where others can see, and never make them feel small in front of an audience. Make them believe that they are the source of your strength, even if the opposite is true. In time, that belief becomes your shield. Take, for example, a promising diplomat who joined the court of an aging but proud king. This young man was eloquent, sharp, and more knowledgeable in international affairs than the king himself. But instead of displaying his knowledge openly, he asked the king for advice, flattered his decisions, and let him speak first in council meetings. The king grew fond of him, trusting him more with each passing year. Eventually, the young diplomat became the kingdom's chief advisor, not by force or arrogance, but by understanding and managing the king's fragile pride. In the game of power, never underestimate the role that ego plays in shaping fate. Make your master feel powerful and they will protect you. Outshine them and they will destroy you. There is an old truth that power often comes not to the loudest, but to the most controlled. When you're climbing the ladder of influence, showing your full strength too soon is like placing all your cards on the table before the game begins. It exposes you, it invites resistance, jealousy, and unwanted scrutiny. If you truly seek to endure and rise, you must master the art of appearing less than you are. This does not mean playing dumb, it means playing wise. People are threatened by what they cannot control. If you are obviously more talented, more intelligent, or more charismatic than your master or peers, their natural instinct will be to isolate or undermine you. They may not even realize why, they just feel a shift in attention, a whisper of danger to their status. So they act to protect what they have, but when you conceal the full extent of your skills, you create space to maneuver freely. No one feels the need to suppress a force that seems harmless. Power thrives in silence. The less you show, the more you can observe. Let others underestimate you. Let them assume they're in control. That illusion keeps you safe while giving you room to grow your influence in the shadows. When the time is right, when the position is secure, and when the spotlight is yours by invitation, not ambition, you will be able to act from a position of true strength. An excellent example is found in a young military officer with exceptional strategic insight. He was placed under a veteran general who, though brave, was outdated in his methods. The officer never boasted, he never criticized. Instead, he asked questions, deferred praise, and offered suggestions as if they were the general's own ideas. His brilliance was disguised as humility. The general began to rely on him more and more, eventually crediting him with quiet victories. Years later, the army was restructured and the officer was promoted far beyond his peers, not because he demanded attention, but because he controlled it. Always remember Remember, power gained too quickly often collapses under pressure, but power gathered silently, patiently, becomes unshakable. Appear less than you are and the world will hand you more than you imagine. Show everything and it may all be taken away before it has time to grow. The path to power is rarely a straight climb. Often it curves through the success of others. One of the most overlooked strategies in gaining influence is making your master look better. Not out of flattery alone, but through action, support, and calculated humility. When you enhance the image of the one above you, you become essential to their success, and in that role, your own power begins to rise. Ego is the cornerstone of authority. The more a master feels admired, respected, and competent, the more secure they become in their position, and a secure master is generous to those who contribute to that feeling. When you provide ideas, let them own the credit. When you solve problems, do so in a way that lets them appear wise for trusting you. When they shine, reflect that light back at them. This isn't submission, it's strategy. You are not giving away power, you are investing it where it multiplies. To make your master look better, you must learn to silence your need for recognition. Recognition will come in time, but only if your master first feels that your presence elevates them. If they see you as someone who helps them win battles, who sharpens their image, who makes their leadership seem visionary, they will guard you as they guard their own reputation. Consider the example of a junior advisor in a royal court. This advisor possessed a sharp intellect and foresight far beyond his years, but he never interrupted the king, never corrected him in public, and never demanded credit for the brilliant policies he crafted. Instead, he presented his suggestions in private and often worded them in ways that made them feel like the king's own ideas. As the kingdom flourished under the king's rule, the king was praised as a genius, and the advisor remained close by, quietly growing his influence. Eventually, when the king fell ill, no one else was trusted enough to carry the torch. The advisor stepped forward, not as a threat, but as a natural successor. This is the art of power in disguise. Help others win and they will never suspect you're preparing for your own rise. Make your master look better and you'll never have to fight for your place. They'll offer it to you themselves. Ambition is a powerful force, but only when it's silent. When ambition is exposed too soon, it alarms, provokes, and invites resistance. People are instinctively wary of those who desire to climb higher, especially when those ambitions could threaten their own position. If others sense that you are hungry for power, they will watch you, question your motives, and set traps for you. This is why the truly strategic individual conceals their ambition like a secret weapon, never to be revealed until the moment of action is inevitable and unstoppable. To conceal your ambition is not to abandon it, it is to protect it from sabotage. Show yourself as content, loyal, and non-threatening. Let others assume you are focused only on your present tasks, not on the next rung of the ladder. Mask your hunger with humility. Smile when others get promoted. Praise the master's leadership. Let your apparent lack of ambition become the disguise that protects your deepest desire. When your ambition is cloaked, you can move freely. While others guard their thrones and watch for challengers, you are quietly building alliances, gathering influence, and preparing. Your rise will seem natural, not forced. People will accept it because they never saw it coming, and by the time they do, it will be too late to stop it. A perfect example of this principle is found in a young administrator working in a powerful minister's office. He worked hard, accepted every order without complaint, and seemed content with his low position. Meanwhile, others vied for attention, showing off ideas and arguing for higher rank. One by one, the ambitious were removed or overlooked, but the quiet administrator, who appeared modest and dependable, was trusted more with each passing month. Eventually, when a scandal forced the minister to resign, it was this unassuming young man who was appointed as his replacement because he seemed the safest, most loyal choice. What no one saw was that he had been preparing all along. Power, when it arrives quietly, is harder to resist. Conceal your ambition not because you lack the will to win, but because the smartest warriors never reveal their weapons until the final blow. In the silence of your patience, greatness gathers strength. In the world of power, direct confrontation is a dangerous mistake. No matter how right you may be, no matter matter how flawed your superior's thinking, openly challenging them will only lead to tension, resistance, and often your own downfall. People do not change their minds when they feel attacked. They dig in, they defend, especially those in power who are surrounded by pressure, scrutiny, and pride. If you challenge them, you risk turning a potential ally into a permanent enemy. But if you praise them strategically and sincerely, you open their ears, soften their pride, and influence their direction without ever appearing to oppose them. This is the art of redirection without resistance. If you disagree with your master or see a better path, never present it as a contradiction. Instead, couch your suggestion, find a way to present your idea as a reflection of their brilliance. Allow them to feel ownership of the solution. When they feel affirmed, not attacked, they will be more likely to listen, and you will remain in their good favor while steering the outcome in your favor. This isn't manipulation, it's discipline. It's knowing that influence is more important than victory in a single conversation. A wise subordinate doesn't need credit, they need control. And control is gained through subtlety, not force. A brilliant example of this played out between a junior executive and a high-powered CEO. The executive had developed a much more efficient plan for launching a product, but instead of confronting the CEO's outdated strategy in a board meeting, he waited. In a private moment, he mentioned how much he admired the CEO's past decisions and how they had always found innovative solutions. Then he said he had an idea inspired by the CEO's leadership style and presented it as a possible extension of the CEO's existing vision. The CEO, feeling praised and supported, adopted the idea fully, believing it was his own evolution. In truth, the executive had led from behind. He won not by challenging but by shaping. That is the essence of power. Understand this: the path to power is not through raw force but through refined finesse. The master's pride is a terrain you must navigate with caution. Honor it and you rise. Challenge it and you fall. Let your light glow just enough to be useful, but never enough to blind the one who leads. You are not abandoning ambition, you are guarding it, shielding it until the day it no longer needs to hide. Play the long game, stay in the shadows, and when the moment is right, step into your own light. Influence gained through praise lasts longer than dominance gained through defiance. When you challenge, you create resistance. When you praise, you plant ideas that grow unnoticed until they bloom in your favor. In this game, subtlety is supremacy. Understand this: the path to power is not through raw force, but through refined finesse. The master's pride is a terrain you must navigate with caution. Honor it and you rise, challenge it and you fall. Let your light glow just enough to be useful, but never enough to blind the one who leads. You are not abandoning ambition, you are guarding it, shielding it until the day it no longer needs to hide. Play the long game, stay in the shadows, and when the moment is right, step into your own light.